Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to iTouch Reviewers. In this video, there are tons of news stories to go over with you guys, so I'm going to just jump right into this. No, this entire video is not going to be just on MacBooks. There's also some new rumors about the iPads as well as the 2020 iPhone, so you're going to want to stay tuned to that. But first, I promised you guys yesterday that I would go over the MacBook updates that Apple kind of did under the table, and they need to be reported on because some of this stuff is pretty cool. So MacBook Air has been updated with a True Tone display and a lower price. So not a huge update, but $100 off is something that Apple doesn't do very often, especially for, a computer that's, they're updating it and lowering the price at the same time. That's kind of unheard of. But anyways, if you guys were looking at picking up a MacBook Air, you now can do it for $100 cheaper and with the True Tone display. Now I'm going to talk about if you guys should buy one of these or not here in a second, but let's just get through some of these changes first. So next up, the entry-level 13-inch MacBook Pro has been updated with 8th gen processors, TouchBar, Touch ID, and T2 security chip. So if you guys remember, I actually was advising pretty much no one to buy the low-end 13-inch MacBook Pro without the TouchBar because it just really didn't make a whole lot of sense. But now they've updated it with a new chip, and it could be up to 2 times faster. They got the Touch Bar, which, love it or hate it, now every single MacBook Pro has it, and it's got Touch ID. So it's a nice upgrade. Still starts at $1299 in the US, $1199 for qualifying students. No price drops here, but I'll talk about this here in a minute once we go over to the buyer's guide. Next up here, Apple discontinues the 12-inch MacBook. So they just killed it. It could come back next year or the year after as an ARM-based MacBook if Apple actually does go completely away from Intel. So we'll see on that, so stay tuned. But for right now, it is discontinued, so don't buy one. Now, the back to school promotion is back this year, of course, and this year they are giving away free pairs of Beats with select purchases. So certain Macs and iPads, you can get a pair of Beats for free. So I think this is the same thing that I did last year. You get a little bit of a discount on the MacBook Pro, as well as your Beats for free. Now, a lot of people just sell the Beats, try to profit a couple $100 off of them, which makes sense. They're not the best headphones in the world. In fact, I've worn mine once since I got them. I do not like them at all. They are too tight on my head and the fit's just not there. Also, the bass wasn't as loud as I wanted it to be, so that's that. Next up here, Apple drops the prices on high-end storage grades for iMac, iMac Pro, MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, and Mac Pro. You can see here the new prices. The 1 terabyte SSD upgrades have dropped by $200 for the iMac, MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini, and the 2 terabyte upgrades have dropped by $400. So Apple is really, they seem to be changing a little bit, like dropping prices instead of raising them. This is kind of unheard of. Happy to see it for sure. They're still pretty high prices, but good to see them doing this. Before I go on to the next story, I'm going to pull up the Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide. So this is usually a good gauge to see, if you should buy something or not. So I'm going to go over here to the Macs, and you guys can see the MacBook, don't buy it because it just got discontinued. And they say to buy now for all of these, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and iMac. I'm going to say, if you're looking for MacBook Pro, don't do it. I know they're saying to do it because it just got, updated. If it were my money and it was my machine and I could wait a couple months, there are rumors of a 16-inch MacBook Pro with a new keyboard design. I don't know if it's really coming this year. We're still working on the rumors, but I personally would not drop, a couple $1,000s on a new MacBook Pro if a really cool new one with an edge-to-edge display is coming out in a couple months. So just stay tuned to the channel. I'll keep you guys in the loop. You already know that. Now, if you're just looking for the 13-inch one, you might want to get it. I don't know if they're really going to change that one, but the 15-inch, that's the one I would hold off on. MacBook Air, it also could get an update, but I kind of doubt it. So if you want an Air, I'd say it's probably safe to get that. iMacs as well were updated recently, so if you're looking for that, I know a lot of you guys are just into MacBook Pros, so I'll stick with that. As for iPhones, this is just a PSA, don't buy any of them because there's gonna be new ones in like 2 months. Now notice over here, this says caution. The reason that says caution is because Apple has registered 5 new iPad models running iPadOS in the Eurasian Database. So this usually means a release is imminent. Within 1 to 4 weeks, I think we will see new iPads. I don't know, obviously 1 to 4 weeks is kind of a big range, but if you think about it, not too long to wait if you are looking for an iPad. So if you are, just chill. There should be some new ones coming out pretty soon. All right, and the last story for today, this is about the 2020 iPhone, and it's rumored that Apple will release a notchless iPhone in 2020. And this makes total sense. I think Apple really needs to do this and nail it in 2020 if they want to stay viable. There's so many really good looking Android phones out there now that are notchless, that Apple's iPhones kind of look outdated with their notch. Now, obviously, a lot of the Android phones have bezels. They're notchless, but they have bezels, if that makes sense. So that's kind of an ugly look, but regardless, Apple does need to make a full screen iPhone. So here's kind of the timeline so far. For 2019, 3 new iPhones with Face ID and no changes to the notch. 2020, 2 new iPhones with Face ID, slimmer notches, and new notchless iPhone with full screen fingerprint authentication. That sounds pretty lit. And in 2021, 3 new notchless iPhones with full screen fingerprint authentication. So for anyone keeping track here, that seems a lot like they're getting rid of Face ID and going to under screen fingerprint technology. But that might not be the case. Apple might actually be able to put the cameras under the display. So you might actually have both. You might be able to have Face ID and a notchless iPhone and under display fingerprint sensing all in one phone. Now that would be pretty revolutionary. That would be awesome. To be able to unlock your phone either way is definitely something that I would buy and I think would be awesome. So let me know your thoughts down below on this, guys. This was a lot of news. I tried to talk quickly, so this is not going to waste all your time. Hopefully you got everything that you needed out of this video. If you have any questions, drop them down below. You guys know I reply to pretty much everyone. I will see you guys in the next one. Thumbs up, subscribe, peace.